The sound of their laughter often echoed through the halls of the university. Bimbo, Dele, Tope, Obi, and Seyi were inseparable. They were the quintessential group of friends, bound by late-night study sessions, shared meals in cramped hostel rooms, and a dream of a future that seemed just within their reach. Bimbo and Dele were siblings, only a year apart, with an unbreakable bond. Bimbo, the eldest, was a natural caregiver. Her almond-shaped eyes sparkled with warmth, and her soft brown skin and petite frame belied a strength that kept the group together. Dele, tall and broad-shouldered, with deep-set eyes and an easy smile, was the joker of the group, often diffusing tension with his quick wit. Tope and Obi were the romantics of the clique. Tope was fiery and bold, with a heart-shaped face, a lit figure, and a piercing hazel eyes that saw through any pretense. Obi, on the other hand, was gentle and reserved, a contrast to Tope's intensity. His dark complexion, dimpled smile, and quiet intelligence made him her perfect match. Then there was Seyi, charismatic, ambitious, and blessed with chiseled features that seemed sculpted to perfection. Seyi was the glue that held them all together. His charm made him impossible to dislike, and his confident baritone often carried the loudest in their conversations. Seyi was more than just a friend. He was the magnet for attention, turning heads wherever they went. His sleek designer clothes, flashy wristwatches, and taste for finer things made him a mystery everyone wanted to solve. They had no idea that this same charm would mask the darkness lurking within. Bimbo had always harbored a secret crush on Seyi. She never spoke of it, but her heart would flutter when he flashed his dazzling smile. She admired how he treated his girlfriends, spoiling them with gifts, showering them with attention, and making them feel like queens. In her quiet moments, she would imagine him noticing her the same way, but she kept her feelings hidden. After graduation, Dele, Bimbo, Tope, and Obi rented a 4-bedroom apartment together in Lagos, believing it was the perfect way to transition into adulthood while preserving the camaraderie that had defined their university years. Seyi, however, chose to stay at his family house initially, but later moved into a well-furnished 2-bedroom apartment, which he barely stayed in. While Bimbo pursued a career in corporate communications and Dele landed a job as a software developer, Tope and Obi were exploring their passions. Tope as a fashion entrepreneur and Obi as a research analyst. Seyi, on the other hand, seemed to have taken a different path. He often disappeared for days, sometimes weeks at a time, claiming he was attending to business. His story was that his uncle connected him to a lucrative job in the USA, where he managed real estate deals. He explained his frequent absences with tales of work trips and networking events. making it seem like his ambition was paying off. The group believed him without question. After all, Seyi had always been the ambitious one, and his father, a high-ranking police commissioner, had connections that seemed to open doors for him. Whenever Seyi returned from his so-called business trips, he would spoil them with lavish gifts, organize expensive outings, and fill their fridge with imported groceries. His generosity and charm made him the center of admiration, and no one suspected that there was anything sinister behind his glamorous lifestyle. However, Seyi's mysterious lifestyle began to spark curiosity among his friends. Dele occasionally questioned why Seyi never shared photos from his supposed trips. Tope teased him about being overly secretive, while Obi brushed off their concerns with a casual shrug. Though they weren't intentionally prying into his business, they were only casually having a conversation, and no one pressed him for answers. Seyi would always laugh and shrug it off, claiming that they knew how he preferred to keep his business private, which was why he didn't take pictures. Seyi's charm had always made them overlook his flaws. Bimbo saw the things he does and his gestures as a reflection of his charm and ambition, which only deepened her admiration for him. She often found herself daydreaming about a future with him, traveling the world together, building a life filled with love and adventure. In her eyes, Seyi was everything she wanted, and she hoped that one day he would see her as more than just a friend. Seyi met Chioma during her university days. She was a brilliant and spirited woman with chocolate-toned skin and almond eyes. Chioma had captured his heart, or so they thought. She had been part of the group until she vanished one fateful evening. Chioma had been missing for 3 months. The friends had searched everywhere, filed missing person reports, plastered her pictures across the city, and even organized candle night vigils. Seyi, the ever-good actor, played the grieving boyfriend, weeping and begging for updates from the police. But the case never gained traction. The police dismissed the investigation quietly, claiming it was a runaway case. It was easier to let the case fade than to risk unraveling the truth. I know many of you will be wondering what the truth is. Well, keep watching to uncover this truth. And if you're watching but haven't subscribed to my channel, please do well to subscribe so that you can keep watching interesting stories like this. And if you're a returning subscriber, hey there, thank you for supporting this channel. I love you all. Months after Chioma's disappearance, Seyi met Bola. She was nothing like Chioma. Where Chioma was reserved, Bola was inquisitive and sharp-tongued. With her ebony complexion and striking angular features, she exuded a confidence that drew Seyi to her. They started dating, and for a while, Bola seemed oblivious to his dark side. Seyi's relationship with Bola seemed perfect on the surface. He showered her with love and affection, lavishing her with gifts, and acted like the perfect gentleman. Their relationship was the envy of many, including Bimbo, who silently wondered why she couldn't have been in Bola's shoes. But Bola was curious by nature, and Seyi's frequent absences began to bother her. One fateful evening, Seyi told her he was going to a church vigil. Bola, ever the skeptic, decided to follow him. She watched from the shadows as Seyi handed a black sack to a well-dressed man in a secluded corner of a parking lot. The man handed Seyi a thick envelope filled with dollars before they parted ways. Her suspicion grew. Bola linked Seyi's WhatsApp to her phone and began recording his calls and copying his messages. What she found chilled her to the bone. Conversations with his father, detailing organ deals, payments, and even a chilling exchange about Chioma. She was becoming a liability. Seyi's father had texted. It was the right call to silence her. Bola gathered videos, voice recordings, and screenshots, piecing together evidence that could expose Seyi's entire operation while still pretending like she knows nothing. On the eve of the day, they celebrated their 6-month anniversary. While she was going downstairs to get water from the kitchen, she overheard Seyi speaking in hushed tones over the phone. "If all you'll be needing is a young donor, then consider it done," he said. "Just have the payment ready and meet me at the spot tomorrow at 10. Her blood ran cold. The words sent chills down her spine. She froze behind the door, heart pounding, and accidentally she stepped on a loose floorboard, trying to be careful not to make a sound, but the creak gave her away. Seyi heard the sound and also caught her reflection in a nearby mirror. "What are you doing there?" he demanded, his voice icy. Before she could respond, he lunged at her. That night, Seyi attacked Bola. His rage was explosive. He beat her mercilessly, stabbing her 3 times in her neck, arm, and belly. She managed to escape, bleeding profusely, and hid in the bushes until she was certain Seyi had given up the chase. Bola dragged herself to the group's apartment in the dead of the night, leaving a trail of blood on their doorstep while banging on it with the last of her strength. When they opened the door, their screams of horror echoed through the quiet neighborhood. The group rushed her to the hospital, where they secretly nursed her back to health. They didn't report the incident, fearing Seyi's father's influence. Instead, they moved Bola to an undisclosed location. As she recovered, Bola shared everything she had uncovered about Seyi: the organ trafficking, his father's involvement, and Chioma's tragic end. It happened that Chioma had stumbled upon evidence of Seyi's illegal dealings. Greed had driven him to start kidnapping people and selling their organs to wealthy clients. A dark enterprise facilitated by his father's connections. Chioma confronted and threatened to expose him. In response, Seyi silenced her forever, reducing her to another transaction. Her body was dismembered and her organs were sold to wealthy clients, desperate individuals in need of transplants and underground medical facilities catering to black market demands. And his father was the person behind the immediate dismissal of the case. Bimbo couldn't believe it. The man she had admired for so long was a monster. How did we not see this coming? Together, the friends devised a plan. Using Bola's evidence, they reached out to an investigative journalist who specialized in exposing criminal networks. The journalist arranged a sting operation, posing as a buyer. He set up a meeting with Seyi. The friends watched from a hidden van as Seyi handed over a black sack to the buyer. Moments later, the police stormed the scene, arresting him. Seyi's arrest was explosive. He fought and screamed, but the evidence was overwhelming. His father tried to intervene, but the journalist had leaked the story to the press, ensuring it was too public to cover up. Seyi was sentenced to life imprisonment, and his father was stripped of his rank and arrested for the role in the crimes. As the friends tried to pick up the pieces, Bimbo reflected on how Seyi's charm had blinded them all. He was so good at hiding who he truly was, she whispered one evening. Dele placed a hand on her shoulder. That's what greed does. It consumes everything in its path. The lesson was clear. Not everyone who shines brightly is a star to follow. Beneath the surface, some are black holes, consuming everything in their orbit. Greed and unchecked ambition can lead to destruction, not just of the greedy, but of everyone who crosses their path. Be careful who you trust, for even the brightest smile can hide the darkest secrets. And sometimes, even the people closest to us are wearing masks. Be vigilant and never let the allure of wealth blind you to someone's true character.